One of the absolute best parts of being a coach is when I have the opportunity to sit down with somebody that is like a previous version of myself. And I get to coach them through some of the most difficult moments of their life. And I know they're really difficult, really hard moments because I remember being there. And there is just such a feeling of connection and love and support when I'm able to see someone in those really hard moments and like really see them and really witness them in a way that they may not even be able to do themselves, because like when you're in the fire, so to speak, like you don't have the capacity to see this whole situation and take all of it in. Like you're kind of like just pigeonholed into like, how do I just survive right now? How do I just get like just what's my next step? Right? Like you're just in here, you're in a trauma mode and everything is like really condensed. And me being on the outside, I get to be that voice of, I don't know if it's like a voice of reason, a voice of confidence for them. I get to be like this just steady presence for them to just say like, hey, I know you don't see where you're going right now and there's smoke in your eyes, but like when you get to this corner, turn left, right? And here, there's going to be a roadblock up here. You're going to need to, and it's just so fulfilling. It just feels like that word doesn't fully encapsulate how beautiful those moments are and how, yeah, it's like I don't fully have the words to describe the feeling of like being right where you need to be. And like just when the universe starts to send you these synchronicities and these like coincidences that aren't just coincidence, and it just is reaffirming, and yeah, it just feels like, ooh, I feel supported, I feel loved, I feel supported and cared for and like on the right path, just by being able to be there for them. And like it just makes all of my previous hardships and my struggles and my like wins through those things like all the more worth it that I get to take those things and share it. It's like free wisdom, right? It's like you don't have to go through the pain, right? Like you get this just for like being able to talk about it. Um, I'll give you a quick example. Today, I spoke with someone who found me through my website, and she's going through a she's she's trying to break up with her boyfriend. And the reason the trying is there is because there is a lot of emotional abuse and manipulation. And uh, in those moments, it makes it a little tricky that you have to be really careful. You have to try to think ahead. You have to prepare yourself when somebody is ready to try to manipulate and take advantage. And you kind of have to think ahead several steps because you know what's coming. And in this case, this is a woman. She's older than me. I don't know how old she is. But she comes to me and she says, I want to break up with my boyfriend. And, I want to practice some scenarios of how I can make sure I have this conversation with him to let him know that I want to break up without feeling pushed in a corner by some of his responses or like cowering, right? Or giving in, which is, has been her pattern for years, right? And she's like, I don't want to, I don't want to fall into this pattern anymore, right? And I need to prepare. I need to prepare for anything that he could throw at me, so that in this conversation, I am equipped and I'm able to like finally make this happen. And I'm like, okay, cool. So, we start talking through and really like practicing live together. What are all these different surprises that she's afraid that might be thrown at her, and how can she respond to it in a way that is her being true to herself and holding her boundaries? All right, and I modeled how to do that, how to, just really own that you're done with the relationship. And it doesn't need an explanation. And it's not a debate. It's not a negotiation at that point. You're just giving them information. And in this case, she lives with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's kids live with her, and she wants them to move out. And she says, it's my house, and I don't even feel like I can take up space in my own house. There's no space. So we talk through how to have a conversation where she is giving him notice to let him know, hey, I'm done with this relationship, right? And I'm going to give you 30 days to figure out your next step, because I'm done, right? I need my house back. So we go through this whole scenario, right? And that's already like, you can tell she's very uncomfortable with how to really stand her ground and not need to explain herself when, there's all of this manipulation and guilting and all of this stuff thrown back at her of, what about the kids, and what about this, and what about that? And you're such a, how can you be this type of person, and this and that, and how to just model this element of detachment with love, where it's sticking with your boundaries and not needing to convince them to see you in a certain way, not needing to change the way they see you. And it's just being able to take in whatever they're saying and just hold to your guns, where, this person, example, right, might say like, yeah, but what about, how am I going to find another place, right? And what if I don't have a job by then? And what if, but what about the kids and their adult kids in this case, right? And it's like, but what about the kids? They don't want to leave, right? And what about this and that? And how to just be firm and not emotionally reactive, right? Not taking the bait, not getting defensive, and just saying, yeah, like this is a lot that you're going to have to figure out, and this is what I need, right? I need you out by this day. And to be able to, again, not get emotionally triggered when they say, well, what if not? What if I don't, right? I don't know if I can get out by that time. And how do you hold your boundaries? By saying like, hey, I can't control what you do. But I'm just letting you know that come this day, right? 30 days from now, on the 15th, let's say, if you're not out, I'm going to call the police, because at that point, I'm telling you, you're not welcome in my house, and I'll have them deal with it. So it's up to you what you want to do, but come that day, I need you out. I need my space. So we go through this whole scenario, right, and practicing all of this element of just, you don't need to explain, right? And then she kind of drops a bombshell. Kind of like comes out, and we can see how it was kind of like this thing that she kind of kept in her subconscious that didn't come up. And also on me, like for, I can see how I made some assumptions and didn't ask. But she says, oh, and he is on the deed. The deed to the house. And I say, whose name is the mortgage under? And she says, both of us. Ooh. Okay. So even though she's been the only one paying and taking care of everything, right? He doesn't work. He doesn't do, it's her doing everything. and she's just done taking care of everybody with nobody, doing anything to contribute. And then she drops that, right? Where it's like technically it's his house and he's on the mortgage, but I do all the payments. And then we realize, right, that there's some element of like her not wanting to be surprised, right, in this conversation, feeling prepared, that she kind of subconsciously held back. Like she didn't mention this element of he owns this house too. Because then, right, we realize that this isn't a communication issue. This is now a legal issue. And I could see in her face when she realized, like, oh, I was in a way like sabotaging myself by getting ready to have this conversation with him, but not acknowledging this little fact that this is his house. And legally, she can't really kick him out of his own house. So it really creates some issues. So, it was, my lips are so chapped. It really was such a serendipitous moment because I was able to share with her that I remember what that is like when you're finally at a place where you're ready to move on, you're ready to grow, but there are some legal things that are tying you together. And you're working with somebody who is very manipulative and does not have your best interest or even like common values of courtesy and respect and things like that in common, right? So you're really like working against somebody who's going to be really hard to, try to handle this as a team, right? It's like it's going to be hard, right? And I told her like this is more of a divorce than a breakup because there are legal things that have you tied together. And I remember what that's like. And, and I was able to share with her, right? We talked about like next steps. So like get some more information, right? That this isn't actually about having a conversation with him. It's about having some conversations with a lawyer and with a real estate agent and with the mortgage company to figure out legally what are her rights, what are her options. And for me to be able to tell her that this is going to be really hard, what she goes through, and she's not going to be able to do it alone. So to get comfortable with the idea of leaning on those support systems and the friends that she has, and that she's not meant to deal with this alone, and that it's okay to lean on them. And to let her know that as hard as this is going to be, that I believe in her. That I know she's going to get through this. I know she can get to the other side. And that on the other side is going to be a version of her that she couldn't imagine. And it's just about this in-between process of between now and getting there. And it just brought me such a warmth to be able to be that person that sees you in the depth of where you're at, who can understand the complexities that are involved in it, not just legally and logistically, but also emotionally and spiritually. To be able to witness all of that and to say, you can do this, right? And here's the first next step, right? That's all we got to work on right now is just this first step, right? And then we'll have clarity on the next step from there, but it's just one step at a time. And being okay with not being able to control the outcome, right? It's just you controlling your actions. Woo! What a growth moment. And it's funny. I celebrate. I have this tradition called 12 Days of Christmas that I do every year leading up to Christmas, where I publish a poem or a story or some sort of writing or whatever that I've maybe like half done, but like haven't finished. And just last night, I pulled out this article that I hadn't finished from 2023, from 2 years ago, that was about this process. It was called no, it was called Do You Remember Me, Wise Oak. It was basically a poem, a letter to this tree that was outside of the house that I owned, that I had to say goodbye to when I went through that process of splitting with my ex and figuring out all the legal stuff involved with getting the legal stuff untangled, right? With regard to that house, because it was the same scenario. And uh, it was so beautiful, being able to reflect. And, today I drove by that tree and I took a picture, the tree in the house, and I'll post it with the article. So it's not lost on me, these coincidences and these magical timing of things. And I believe in the universe and I believe in the energy and the synergistic flow and frequencies that connect us all together and kind of bring us to like right where we need to be at the right time, meeting the right people. And this was just one example of that. And I get to experience that feeling a lot. If not, maybe not every day, but like I'd say a week doesn't go by without something. And it just lets me know that I'm on the right path, that I'm on the right track, and that I'm able to use now those moments that were the hardest moments of my life at that time. And now I'm able to use it to give strength to somebody else, to give them not only strength, but to give them hope as well. Man, it's beautiful. And yeah, like it makes me, I could cry just reflecting right on all that it took to get here. And there's so much under the surface that you don't just see if you don't know somebody's history and where they've come from. Right? Like you might see somebody and like the mountain that they're standing on, but you don't know what they had to go through to even get there, right? Like you're assuming they started on ground zero, but they may have had to climb out of a couple ditches to even make it to sea level to be able to climb that mountain. And for me to be able to look back on my own journey and appreciate that and honor that and like send that previous version of myself some love for holding on, for not giving up. Mm, it's just so beautiful. And, it gives me a lot of hope and a lot of faith as well to know that the current version of me and the challenges that I have today are going to be things that the future version of myself is able to look back on and be really proud of as well. And like to feel that sense of connection and support and love and being cared for by something bigger than me, right? By, this bigger, like universal energy system and this flow of love and connection. Man, it just, I'm just like, even just caught in this moment, just reflecting and taking it in. And it's like I'm just really grateful to be able to be that example. I'm grateful to be able to be that conduit of love and of hope for someone today. And it just gives me a lot of peace that all of the hurdles in my journey I've made peace with. And the fact that I have that sense of peace allows me to now take the take the good out of it and share it with somebody else that I wouldn't have if I hadn't gone through that. And it's like it makes it worth it. Where it's like if I could go back, I wouldn't not want those hard things to happen because I've made them into something so beautiful now. And it's not about making light of it or minimizing the pain or the hardship of it. It's about embracing the full extent of the difficulty of it, of what it was, and being able to use every ounce of it to create something new that wouldn't be able to exist without it. And it just really makes me just so grateful. And yeah, just a lot of gratitude. I don't know what the message is for you watching this. I didn't really like package it all up in a bow where it's like, all right, and the take home for you, the takeaway. I just wanted to share what that experience is like and how beautiful it is. Right. And it's like these moments of joy, it's not the type of feeling people think of, or it's not the expression people think of when you think of like really feeling like happy and content and fulfilled. It's not this like happy, energetic, like, oh, right. It's like this just like quiet knowing. Ow. It's this like really quiet knowing that I'm in the right place and that I'm exactly where I need to be. And to be able to like be of service and help somebody else with a gift that I worked really hard to uncover from a pile of rubble. It's like, cool, cool. Let's do that again. So that's what I got for y'all today. Bye. If you're not already subscribed to my podcast and to my newsletter, subscribe to both. I share a lot of good stuff. I share a lot of these reflections and stories. And it's a way that we can stay connected, regardless of the algorithm and what the algorithm decides to do or not do. So that's like a way that we can stay connected and that you can make sure that you're getting these reminders and these messages for yourself. Uh, and I trust that they'll find you when they need to. And that if you've listened this far, there's a reason. And there's a lot of magic and beauty that's in store for you too. And I can't wait to hear about it. Bye.